DayZ, give me your answer. I'm crazy over the love. It won't be a stylish marriage. But you look so
This is Endless with VGmechanica.com, and I'm playing some DayZ. DayZ is a zombie survival mod for Arma 2. Basically, it makes kind of a semi-realistic take on trying to survive the zombie apocalypse. In it, you start with a few supplies. I've actually been going around just a little bit. I found a barn with a CZ and a couple other cool things. But you pretty much just start with a pistol, some clips, some bandages, and not much else. Some food, a small backpack. And I'm going to assume just in this first video that you haven't played Arma 2, so I'm just going to go through some of the controls. G opens your pack up like this, and to eat, you'll see that there's a food and a thirst indicator that tells you how low you are. It'll eventually start blinking and you'll lose blood, and that'll let you know it's time to eat. You can eat before then, but I like to push it because it seems to max you out no matter how far down you are, so it just makes best use of it. And then you just right-click on something if you want to eat or drink it. Same with using meds and painkillers. Those are for if you break bones and stuff. It's pretty simple. Flares you can throw. They're better in the night. You can use them as distractions. Empty can I can throw to distract zombies. Zombies are a big part of this game, but they're not the only part. There are other players that are playing, and they're not necessarily on your side. So I'm going to do these videos as if kind of either one life or 1 hour, whichever comes first, and we'll see how that goes. And I'll try to explain what I'm doing as I'm doing it on these first few videos, but after that I'm just gonna kind of assume you got the point. DayZ is available at DayZmod.com. It's a free download. You just got to own Arma 2, which I think is on sale on Amazon right now. So it's on auto run. I'm actually crouching. You can stand and crouch run. If you notice on the right over here, there's an ear and an eye. That tells you how visible you are and how audible you are to zombies in the area. There's no zombies in the area. I'm just running crouched by habit. As you can see, running crouched doesn't really add a lot to your visibility. And then if I hold shift, or I can walk, if you double tap shift, it'll toggle it. If you haven't played Arma 2, there's a couple cool things you can do that aren't in a lot of shooters. Like while you're walking or driving, you can hold Alt and just look around with your head and still go in the direction you're going. So I can turn around, see if there's stuff behind me. I don't actually have to turn my whole body. That's awesome. You can also peek left and right. That also allows you to do the wiggle. If you go QE, QE, lets people know you're friendly. Hitting backspace will salute. It's also another way to let people know you're friendly, but it leaves you kind of vulnerable, so it's not as popular. I'm going to this lighthouse for now. Typically, when you spawn from the coast, you want to look for houses, which will have stashes. They'll also have zombies around them, like you can see it there. I'll go prone and switch to my rifle. By the way, I'm fully expecting to get shot at any point, so zombie, I don't see a whole lot of them over there, actually. Anyhow, I like to get away from the water, because when people spawn, they're the most likely to want your stuff. Usually because they're frustrated at having just died. Oh, when you die, you start with nothing. I mean, the game will remember where you're at when you log out, and you can log into any server, and it'll put you where you were. It's an alpha, so there's a lot of glitches, and there's exploits and people killing you at spawn and blah, blah, blah. But for the most part, it'll remember where you're at. Except for inverted servers. I think those ones just like a +4 server. The server location dictates if it's day or night out. So it's day for this server, but I don't have a watch on this character, so I don't know what time it is in game. But If it gets dark, and that's the whole night. It's not like some 1 hour darkness or something, like, or 15 minutes like Minecraft. It's a whole freaking night, and you got to get used to that. There are night vision goggles you can scavenge. There's also a few tricks in the settings, so if I get into night, I'll end up doing that to make the videos viewable. And that's where the flares come in. You can cycle what's in your hand with the mouse wheel. It also brings up a context menu if you're pointing at something like a ladder or a door. F will also do a different toggle, as you can see at the top right. It toggles at flares and what you can throw, and then back to the gun in your hand. This is not very exciting, I know. I'm kind of just following the road. On these videos, at least these first couple, I'm not going to be super paranoid about surviving because I really don't mind starting from scratch. Though having nicer stuff is nice. And then eventually I'll log into like the Reddit chat room or something and join some other people and play a little more socially. There's some other cool stuff this game has. If you haven't played it, if you hit period, you can toggle through your channels. You can see that at the bottom left of the screen. And direct communication, if you hold caps lock while you talk, will talk in a way that only people in your vicinity will hear you. And as they get further away, the sound gets more dim. I mean, Arma 2 is just a fantastic game if you haven't played it on its own merits. But with the zombie mod, it's just it's, icing on the cake. Freaking sound effects. Also, first thing you do when you install the mod is mute the music, as the music involves sound effects like people hitting fences and stuff, which you really don't need that in this game because the game makes you jumpy enough when you're trying to keep your stuff. Oh, holding right click down zooms like that. Tapping it will go into your gun's iron sights or scope if you've got it. All that, I would, if you haven't played Arma 2 and you get it, go through the Arma 2 boot camp, or else you're going to have a hard time with this game. And there's no reason not to. I mean, you get to shoot big guns and drive tanks and fly jets and helicopters. There is a helicopter and there are cars in DayZ, but they're usually found damaged, and you have to scavenge parts to repair them. So I'm going to go up to this town, even though it's probably a bad idea. This is the Russian countryside. If you find these street signs, they are in Cyrillic. I actually have printed out a Cyrillic pronunciation guide to my right on the wall so that I can at least sound them out and then type them in English. And also, I don't have it right now, this playthrough, I'm not going to use it, but I usually keep a map up on my Nook, or if I've got the other laptop up, and I'll look at the map and try to get a good idea where I'm at. There is an in-game map, which is pretty cool, but it's hard to find. Zombies now, so we're going to double tap shift and just start kind of walking around. They're fairly blind if you're not moving too fast. They will hear gunshots and rush at it. The bigger the gun, the more likely they are to hear it. You have crawlers, walkers, and then you have these, I think lurkers or something. They just kind of hunch over, and they sound like gorillas. I think that's it, way out there. Oh, and your guy has a stamina, so if you run around a lot, you'll hear him breathing, and then also your sights are kind of shaky. I heard Makarov fire in the background. That's something else that's kind of weird. The more you play this, the more you kind of identify some of the starter gun sounds. One of the things I do if I get seen by zombies is you can pretty much run indefinitely. It just makes you hungry and thirsty faster. So I'll just run, not sprint, but run until either they get bored, which happens sometimes, or I'll find bandits or people who are shooting at me and kind of lure them to them. It's, I don't know, something to do. See, a zombie. It's the one that looks like Mythbusters. If you go up to something like a fence and hit V, your guy will crawl, will kind of like step over it. So let's close. Not every building is enterable. In fact, most are not. It's just a limitation of the Armor 2 engine. Armor 3 is in the works, but I don't hold my breath. Bottom left is also where people chat, but it also gives you all the system notices when people log in, what mods they're using, what skin they're using, things like that. So usually it's filled with spam. If you hear like a whole bunch of mosquitoes, that means you're near a player's dead body, which is handy at night sometimes. These burnt out cars are not repairable. Repairable cars typically look a lot more put together. So here's a little place I can go inside of and look. So I found a soda. I hit G to open my pack, and as you can see, oh, I found a bandage too. I'm actually filled up, so we'll get rid of that one. So I've got a bottle I can still throw if I need a distraction. Alright, so sodas, I know in real life they can kind of dehydrate you a little bit, but this one they're just fully hydrating. Water bottles are refillable at freshwater sources, not the sea where you spawn. And that's just a can of beans. And then backpacks you can open up. I don't have anything in it at the moment. Oh, I should put that bandage in there. I forgot it was empty. You kind of respawn so many times that sometimes, or at least I do. There are people who very, very, very good at staying alive. I am not one of them. So I kind of respawn so many times, I'm never sure what I have on me when I log in. So the game doesn't really punish you for being a bad guy, for shooting people on sight. There's a bandit stuff, and you don't really take a penalty for shooting bandits, but there's no real reason not to. I don't shoot people unless they fired at me. Just how I play the game. It's more fun for me personally, but I don't hold it against anyone else who decides to shoot on sight. It's just a different way of playing the game. I don't like exploiters logging out in a firefight and then logging back in a few minutes later. So you basically go invisible and then reappear. Is bullshit. And then you can log out, join another server, reposition, log out of that one, and rejoin the one you were on. There's a player there. He might shoot me. I'm gonna... Oops. Do the wiggly. Hello. Actually, make sure I'm in direct communication. Whoops. Hey there. He might actually be shooting me. He's lining up his gun. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Just his backpack. It looks weird. I think. Zombies might be able to hear me if I talk locally. I'm not sure. I haven't really experienced that. If he's talking, I can't hear him. Yeah, so I guess they don't want to use the in-game chat in this one. Man, I'm surrounded here. Who's talking? That's not good. I think I've been seen. Well, here it goes. About to die. They can hit me through the walls, so this is going to be a bloodbath. That's awesome. Again, not too worried about. See, my blood goes down as I take damage, and I'm openly bleeding. Oh, and I'm unconscious. So they're going to just feast on me. It's pretty disturbing. That was awesome. Yeah, that was a loud gun, so they all came at me at once. It's a good idea of what not to do. Alright, that's it for this video now that I'm dead. I'll see you for the next one.